Hello, welcome and welcome back to my channel. For those that are joining us for the first time, in this channel we are talking about migration, nursing, traveling and everything else. So today we are going to focus more on nursing. Well, when you are a nurse and you are employed, permanent employment for that matter, you are expecting to get benefits. So today we are going to compare benefits of working in UK and benefits of working in Lesotho as a nurse. So I am a nurse who has two qualifications. I have qualification in general nursing. Is it two? Why am I degrading myself? Okay, I have three qualifications. I was a nursing assistant and I upgraded to general nursing, and then I also studied midwifery. I have certificate in nursing assistant, which took me 2 years to complete. I have general nursing diploma, which took me 3 years to complete, and then I hold nursing midwifery, which took me a year and some months to complete. So I worked in Lesotho and I am also working in UK. So we are going to compare the benefits of being a nurse in Lesotho and the benefits of being a nurse in United Kingdom. If this is type of the information that you would love to hear from me, please consider to subscribe, like, share this video, and let's get into today's business. Hello, welcome and welcome back to my channel. For those that are joining us for the first time, my name is Mboi. I am a nurse. I work and live in United Kingdom, Wales. So like I said, we are going to compare benefits of working in both UK and Lesotho. So for those that don't know where Lesotho is an African country. It's very, very small. It's down in the south and it's interlocked by South Africa. So we are a nation that has its own government, but we have borders through South Africa. So you can't reach my country if you don't go through Republic of South Africa. So with my qualification as a general nurse, I can be able to register as a mental health nurse or an adult nurse in the UK. So this means that my qualification that I hold as a general nurse, excluding midwifery, I was able to register with NMC as an adult nurse. And I can also be able to register as a mental health nurse and hold two qualifications in UK as an adult nurse and mental health nurse. But in my country, if you study psychiatry, that is a specialist nursing program. You will have an extra bar in your identification epaulets. But with United Kingdom, with your own general nursing, if you trained in Lesotho, you can be able to work as an adult nurse or mental health nurse. I think just because that when you do general nursing, there are modules in psychiatry and psychology. So those are credit hours in those two subjects qualify for you to completely be registered as a mental health nurse in United Kingdom. So if we were to compare two countries, so in this being Lesotho and then UK, I think it's best in Lesotho because if you have general nursing, you can be able to attend to everyone. But in UK, they don't have a specific curriculum for general nursing. If you go to school, you either choose a specialty to study as an adult nurse or a mental health nurse or children's nurse or learning disability nurse. You can't do them all. But if you want to, that means you will have to study towards one of the four, that I have mentioned, being adult nursing, mental health nursing, learning disability nursing, and children's nursing. So that's the plus of being educated in Lesotho. With my general nursing, I can be able to register with at least 2 of the nursing qualifications in the UK. It's a plus. Moving on, work. As an adult nurse in United Kingdom, you are able to work anywhere. You can be registered as an adult nurse, and then when you are registered as an adult nurse, the first grading, you are considered as a band 5 nurse. You can also work in hospital, even though you are registered as an adult nurse. Okay, lovelies, let's compare the core business. Maternity leave, compassionate leave, annual leave, contracted hours, hourly pay, holiday pays, paternity leave, and all those stuffs. So now let's check United Kingdom when it comes to maternity leave. So with maternity leave in United Kingdom, everyone who falls pregnant under employment, irrespective of the time that you joined the company, it does not matter whether you came into this company 3 months ago and then you fall pregnant, now you are entitled to maternity leave. Everyone who is employed is entitled to maternity leave, and a payable one. So in UK, you can go on a maternity leave for approximately 52 weeks, which translates to something like 11 months and some days. 11 months and 11 months and some days. So it's your choice really if you are going to take the whole 11 months or you want to cap it at some point and go back to work. But every individual is able to obtain 52 weeks maternity leave. And with those weeks, 52 weeks, if you are entitled to share those weeks with your partner. Now, that's amazing. 52 weeks is approximately a year. Like 11 months of you breastfeeding. Like if you opt on to breastfeed, but it's you going home and you still have pay, maternity pay for the whole 11 months, and you are at liberty of sharing your maternity leave with your partner if you want to do that. That is a plus in UK. Now, let's go and check Lesotho. With Lesotho, everyone is entitled to maternity leave, and maternity leave is 12 weeks. So 12 weeks, it's something like 3 months, where you are supposed to take 6 weeks before you deliver and 6 weeks after the child is born, and then altogether is 12 weeks. Let's check the huge difference. Like, it's not even half of what UK is offering. So in this regard, UK wins. Let us now move on to paternity leave. Paternity leave in Lesotho, I think there is no statutory obligation for an employer to pay you for a paternity leave, but there is what is called parental leave, which is about 14 days. Usually those 14 days are referred to as paternity leave for a male companion to go when the wife has had a child, or if the wife is sick while on maternity leave. But to my knowledge, there is no statutory obligation from an employer to offer a male companion a paternity leave. This means if you go on to a parental leave, you just go for 14 days unpaid, and that's it. Now, switching this into UK, let's check how United Kingdom treats paternity leave. So paternity leave in United Kingdom, it's approximately 1 or 2 weeks. You can choose to take a week or 2 weeks together, but there are also differences if you choose to adopt. So there is another document, there is other rules governing adoption, and the paternity leave towards adoption is more than when you are going for a paternity leave on your biological child. Now, your paternity leave will have to end within of your wife's maternity leave, not beyond that. And that's how it is. So in this regard, paternity leave looks like it's the same in Lesotho and in UK. Whereas when it comes to adoption, then UK will win. But I don't know much about Lesotho and adoption. I've tried to look on the internet. I went on to adoption law. I couldn't find a solid, definite paternity leave towards adoption. So UK wins in this one because they have considered the fact that there is what is called surrogacy and adoption. And if you are going through surrogacy and adoption, there are other governing guidelines that will be considered in your case if you are dealing with surrogacy or adoption. So let us move on to annual leave. In both countries, UK and Lesotho, both you are entitled to annual leave, but in UK you are entitled to between 24 and 28 days, and in Lesotho you are entitled to 12 days in a financial year. So this depends on your contract, when you started working with the company that you're working for or a government entity, but your days in UK would be between 24 and 28 days, whereas in Lesotho it would be 12 days, excluding public holidays in both countries. So this is a plus for UK. UK is winning again. So it translates to something like a month or 6 weeks, but in Lesotho it's just 12 days, which is approximately 2 weeks in a year. So UK is winning when it comes to annual leave. Of course, it will depend on the contract when you can be entitled to the full 20 something days and 12 days, because it will also depend when you started work. Let's say you started work when the financial year of the company that you are working for has already been running and you joined the company halfway. You will be given 6 days in Lesotho, but in UK it will be pro rata. Pro what? It's pro rata or pro rota? I can't remember, but it will be calculated towards the time that you started with that company, and then it will run off up until the end of the financial year. Moving on, let's talk about sick leave. So sick leave in both countries, you are entitled to go on a sick leave if you are feeling sick. In UK, there is no stipulated amount of time that you can take off work when you are sick. So there are no stipulated days, but your employer may choose to put number of days that you can be off sick, and you get a full pay, and then they can also put the number of days you can be off sick and you get half pay, and beyond that you can be off sick and you are not paid for a certain time until you are fit enough to come back to work. And also when you are in UK, you are entitled to be off work for approximately 7 days without providing a sick leave note, meaning if I'm not feeling well and I know that the illness that is presenting could be contagious to the people that I'm caring for, I can call work and inform them that I don't feel okay and I'll be back maybe tomorrow or 2 days to come. But it shouldn't be beyond 7 days. If it's beyond 7 days, then you are supposed to have a sick leave from either a GP, a dentist, physiotherapist, any healthcare professional who may have assessed you and deemed you not to have enough capacity to work, or that you are not fit enough to work. So then thereafter you can present a sick note that will tell your employer when you will be back to work. So with Lesotho, you are definitely entitled to 12 days of sick. And with those 12 days, you need to prove that you are really sick, meaning you have to offer your employer, you have to give your employer the sick note from a healthcare professional, be it as a doctor, a nurse, a dentist, and whoever deemed you not fit for work. And you will be getting full pay with your 12 days, and thereafter you are also entitled to 24 days half pay, and then beyond that it's unpaid, and your employer may decide to dismiss you because of unfitness to work, or they may wait for you to get better while they hire someone in your place until you get better. So that's sick leave in both countries. And in this regard, UK wins. Moving on to another type of a leave. I hope you are learning. Please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share it with your loved ones, especially if they are living in UK or in Lesotho. This is quality information that will definitely change your situation at the time that you may need this info. Okay, now let us talk about compassionate leave. Well, in UK it's a bit complex. There is no definite days for compassionate leave, and there is no statutory legislation about compassionate leave. Your employer is not entitled to pay you during compassionate, well, it's also called bereavement leave. They are not legally required to pay you when you are in bereavement, but out of courtesy, some employers do pay for compassionate leave. There is also what is called parental leave, and this parental leave can be paid or unpaid. So it entirely depends on your employer how many days you are entitled to and how many days you would be paid for either parental leave or compassionate leave. But with the national guidelines concerning bereavement or parental leave, there is no definite days assigned in UK. So it entirely depends on the employer you are working with. Either you are in a private sector, in an NHS, government entity, anywhere in UK, there is no definite number of days offered for compassionate leave. However, in Lesotho, if you are in bereavement, you are entitled to 5 working days compassionate leave. It does not matter who died, but as long as that person is your dependent or your parent or very close to you, you are entitled to 5 working days compassionate leave in Lesotho. And this will entirely depend on your employer. I think when I was working for, am I allowed to mention the company I was working for? But I was working for one NGO, and when I was working with this NGO, I was entitled to 5 working days only when my mom, my dad, my child, my spouse, my siblings, my mom-in-law, my dad-in-law, my partner's siblings were dead. So the compassionate leave terms in Lesotho would only revolve around immediate family, being parents, your children, your siblings, and your spouse. But with UK, it does not necessarily say who died and then you are entitled. It only says a dependent. So a dependent can have multiple definitions. But with Lesotho, one NGO that I worked for, it was clearly mentioned that it should be your parents, your in-law parents, your spouse, your in-law siblings, your biological siblings, your children. So it could be your adopted children or your spouse's children or your biological children. But as long as it's your immediate family, then you will get a compassionate leave. If it goes beyond immediate family, let's say grandmother, grandfather, your aunt, your uncle, you will not get a compassionate leave. You will only it can only be negotiated with your employer, and if they don't allow you, you are not entitled to leave work. But well, I know in Lesotho most of the employers are very compassionate when it comes to death, and it does not matter who died in your family. As long as it's someone who is very close to you, then you will be given time off to go and bury that one person that is to be buried. In UK, there is no statutory legislation that says you need to get this much days, so there is no days. In this regard, Lesotho wins. Okay, moving on to public holidays. In the United Kingdom, public holidays are referred to as bank holidays. In Lesotho, it's still referred to as public holidays. So in UK, the only difference that we have is that when you work on a bank holiday, you will get double what you usually earn. So if you are earning £1, you will get £2 for that day per hour. So let's take for an example, if it's Christmas Day and I'm working on a Christmas Day, in UK I will be paid double the usual amount that I earn in a day. If I make £100 a day and I work on Christmas Day, I'll get £200. But in Lesotho, public holidays are dealt with differently. They are called call days. Most of the times, oh dear, one of my lights turned off. Well, let's change the angle. I'm recording at night, don't mind me. Anyway, in Lesotho, where was I? Anyway, in Lesotho, public holidays, we normally don't work on public holidays. Those that work on public holidays and they are working for government, the pay is not affected. But if you are working in a community setting, you will be on call. Sometimes some workers get call allowances, sometimes some don't get call allowances. So I just don't know what happens there with public holidays in Lesotho, because I tried to look for more information. There is nothing documented on that according to what I researched. If you happen to know what happens with the pay on a public holiday, please let us know on the comment section below what happens if you work on a public holiday. But in UK, you get double the amount of usual pay that you get per hour. Now, finally, Let us talk about working hours. Okay, working hours are different in both countries. In UK, for nurses, it's not clear whether you can work 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days a week, or you can just choose to work a day, two. It depends on a contract. But on the gov.uk website, it's clearly mentioned that you shouldn't be working more than 48 hours, especially if you are less than 18 years old. But even if you are above 18 years old, you are not allowed to work more than 48 hours. But there are subsections for professions onto how many hours you can work in a week. Looking into the NHS overall working hours, which is a major healthcare setting in the UK and a government entity for that matter, most of the times nurses are contracted be 3 days a week for 3 weeks, and then 4 days for the last week. Meaning, in a month of 4 weeks, in the first 3 weeks, you work 3 days, and then the last one, you will work 4 days. That depends on the contract. Where I am working as a Band 5 nurse, I am contracted 36 hours a week, which translates to something like 3 days on and then 4 days off. So I work 3 days a week and then I'm off 4 days, which is a plus. Now, looking back into Lesotho, there is an average work hours for all other entities, including private sector and public service. Employees are contracted 45 hours a week, which translates to 5 days or 6 days in a week. And that has been what we were doing in Lesotho. I was working 5 days a week. I was going to work at 8 and completing work at 5. Some would start at 8 and complete at 4. Some will start at 9 and complete at 6. Some will start at 9 and complete at 5. But generally, working population in Lesotho, we work Monday to Friday and sometimes Monday to Saturday, and then Sunday is reserved as an off day. And in UK, all days are the same. You either choose, or you already have been directed by your employer that you will be working only weekends, or you will be working only Monday and Tuesday, or you may choose to work only Wednesday and maybe Friday and Saturday. So it entirely depends on the contract in UK. But generally, UK, we work less hours than in Lesotho, and we earn more money than in Lesotho, even though the work hours are less. That's the case. So, I don't know. If we look back into what we have been discussing today, do you think you are keen to continue to work in Lesotho? Or do you think looking abroad, specifically looking into working in UK, is the best for you? Because for what I know, in my entire profession, I've never achieved job satisfaction. I only achieved that when I came in UK. And there are still challenges here and there, but comparatively, it's better